Why were 7 aid workers hunted down and killed by Israeli drones? We now have the army's version of what happened. It confirms earlier reports that 3 vehicles were struck, one after the other, driving away from a warehouse where aid had been delivered. According to the military, drone operators wrongly believed an armed man seen with the convoy at an earlier stage of the journey was still on board and that humanitarian workers were no longer present. The army admitted the World Central Kitchen logos on the vehicles weren't visible at night and that soldiers on the ground weren't aware of the coordination plans that had been drawn up with the charity. It also said the second and third missile strikes were carried out without specific orders from above. World Central Kitchen described the explanation as cold comfort and has demanded an independent investigation. 2 senior officers have been dismissed, 3 others reprimanded, and an assessment will be made as to whether criminal cases should be filed. But how many of the 33,000 Palestinians killed in Gaza died following similar decisions? We'll likely never know. Under international pressure, and with famine imminent, Israel has finally agreed to reopen the Erez crossing into northern Gaza, destroyed during Hamas's October the 7th attack. Aid will also be brought to an Israeli port close to the Gaza Strip. Until now, Israel has only allowed food trucks to cross into southern Gaza and has been accused of using starvation as a weapon of war.
What we're looking to see in the days and weeks ahead is prioritization, surging humanitarian assistance, sustaining it, getting it to people who need it, making sure that those who are providing it are safe and secure, and maximizing every effort to protect civilians.
Inside Gaza, the suffering continues. 16-year-old Rafiq's injuries, as you're about to see, are deeply distressing. Badly malnourished, he lost his leg and nearly his entire family to an Israeli strike. We've been following him and his sister. They were being treated in Al-Shifa hospital when the Israeli army moved in. They've now reached southern Gaza, but Rafiq's condition has deteriorated even further.
There was no food or water. We were begging the doctors for water just to wet our lips, but there wasn't enough for that. Our suffering was extreme. We were suffocating from the gas bombs and gunpowder, so we couldn't sleep.
They're desperate to leave Gaza and be reunited with their father, who's been stranded in Egypt.
I want to tell the world. They already know about our suffering. We've shared enough videos. They know our struggle. There is nothing else we can do.
It's events in Iran that Israelis are most closely focused on right now, though. Today in Tehran, a funeral for the Revolutionary Guard commanders killed in Damascus earlier this week, along with rallies in solidarity with Gaza. Iran's leadership has vowed to retaliate against Israel for the strike. It's not clear how far they're willing to further escalate tensions, but these are bloody and dangerous times.
Well, I've been speaking to retired US General Wesley Clark. He was Supreme Allied Commander of NATO at the time of the international operation in Kosovo. I began by asking him how much of a turning point he thinks this week has been in the United States' relationship with Israel.
I think it's a big moment. I'm not sure it's the straw that broke the camel's back, but I think it's a big moment. I think the president and the American people are still going to support Israel, but it's clear that Israel has to clean up its act, so to speak. You can't have a campaign that recklessly kills people, and the fact that these humanitarian workers were on an approved route and that there was a mistake in the chain of command, et cetera. Yes, all that may be true, but the problem starts at the top, really.
Yeah, having seen the report into how Israel explains the killing of the aid workers, what do you make of that explanation?
I think it's a good technical explanation for this specific incident, but I think it also leaves unspoken. The larger issue of how Israel went about prioritizing its efforts to eliminate Hamas. So when we ran the campaign against Serbia for Kosovo in 1999, we said there were some specific measures of merit, and one of them was no collateral damages. We didn't accept the fact that we would kill a dozen people to go after a Serb military leader or something like that.
Yes, I mean, it's an insight, isn't it, into what's been happening for 6 months, because you have an incident here in which some soldiers believe, without evidence, that there are militants in vehicles and decide to attack them and are approved by senior officers to attack those vehicles. And that really demonstrates why the civilian casualty count has been so high.
As I understand it, one of the drone operators saw that one of the people getting in the vehicles had something over his shoulder that could have been a weapon in a handbag or in a shoulder pack or something, and that is what triggered the alarm and so forth. And so if that's the rules of engagement, better relook those rules of engagement. But I think it's deeper than that, because I think there's been a sort of greater tolerance for collateral damage and killing innocent people. Now, that having said that, we also have to understand that it's the Hamas direct strategy to hide among the people and to try to provoke Israeli attacks that will kill innocent people. We got to get those people out of Gaza. And this was really the strategy that many of us suggested from the beginning. Let Israel and Egypt take the Palestinian population out of Gaza, and then let Israel deal with the remainder.
Right, but I mean, let's just talk about that for a moment then. I mean, that is effectively the official ethnic cleansing of Gaza, taking the civilian population out, and it's exactly what many in Israel want, isn't it? They want the Palestinians out of Gaza, and they want Israeli control again.
You have to tell them you're going to rebuild Gaza and give it back to them. Now, you have to mean it when you say it, and you have to do it. There's all kinds of groups in Europe who are thirsting for these kinds of construction opportunities. So no, it's not ethnic cleansing. It's not. It's enabling the civilian population to get out of the way and let Israel finish the job against a terrorist organization that's taken over a state.
General Wesley Clark, thank you very much.
Thank you.